Hola, hola. Buenos dias, everyone. Good morning. I hope you are doing well as we're coming up on midweek here. Hope your week is off to a good start. I'm Lisandra Jimenez, and I'm happy to welcome you to Cafecito con HACE here at the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement. I am serving currently as the Director of Leadership Programs for HACE, so very happy to be here with our lovely guests who I'll introduce shortly. Before we go there, for those of you who are new with us, I want to tell you a little bit more about who we are and what we do. So as I mentioned, we're the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement. We're a nonprofit organization dedicated to the employment, development, and advancement of Latino talent. So we want to make sure that we help them along and succeed in every step of their career. We have several pillars that help us do that through thought leadership, professional development, and talent acquisition. So that is a little bit about us. We do have a few announcements of things coming up that I want to make sure you're aware of so you can stay involved and be able to collaborate with us. So one thing to note, we do currently have applications open for our fall 2026 leadership programs. If you're looking for development, growth opportunities, you want to continue to advance in your career, whatever stage you're in, we would love to have you join one of our leadership programs. We do have a full pipeline of programs starting from students, high school, college, entry-level professionals, going all the way to mid-level and advanced professionals. So we would love to have you. We'll post some more information in the chat, so keep a lookout there for a landing page to our leadership programs, and you can check those out a bit more. And then secondly, would love to announce that we also have our career coaching corner coming up next month in August. Again, you're looking for any of that growth opportunities, or you're maybe navigating a workplace challenge right now, needing any support with thinking about your next career transition or move. If you're thinking about, maybe I'd like another set of eyes on my resume or some interview skills, etc., anything like that, we have one-on-one career coaching sessions available to you at a discounted rate in that August career coaching. So we would love to have you for that. If you're currently in that phase of looking for additional support or need a set of eyes to talk about some of the challenges you're going through in the workplace, that would be a great opportunity for you to take advantage of. We have executive and career coaches that participate in that and help you through in a one-on-one session. So we'll also post a little bit about that here in the chat as well to get you going to that page to sign up if you're interested. Besides that, we would love for you to engage with us throughout our conversation. So please do utilize the chat feature to let us know where you're joining us from and any comments throughout the conversation as we get into it. Already seeing some folks here from a little bit all over, from Maryland, even from Puerto Rico. So we're happy to have you. Welcome to our HACE comunidad. As we get into our conversation, I want to say hello to our beautiful guest today. Buenos dias, Coach Wendy Amara. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, gracias. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. Buenos dias todos.
Absolutely. So a little bit more about Wendy, and she'll share a little bit more. But Wendy is coming to us as a business and leadership coach with over 18 years of experience in really empowering women to achieve their career, life, and business goals. She is the daughter of Guatemalan immigrants and a proud mama as well. So Wendy's journey is really rooted in resilience and the power of taking that bold action. So bienvenida to our Cafecito, Wendy. We're happy to have you. We always start off our cafecitos with asking our guests how you like your cafecito, of course. So if you can share a little bit more how you take your cafecito or your morning beverage of choice if it's not cafecito.
Yes, thank you so much. So when I was drinking coffee, I like black coffee, actually, with 2 sugars. That's it. I've never liked coffee with a lot of milk or cream in it. So black coffee was the way I would take coffee, but I'm actually off caffeine now. I don't drink caffeine anymore. So now I drink tea, and I love ginger tea. Ginger tea is my favorite to have in the morning. Yeah.
Okay, that's definitely different. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. Definitely the healthier option as we are getting into the phase of, paying more attention to our health. Definitely in the last couple of years certainly has shifted. For our audience, share with us how you like your cafecito as well. Feel free to share in the chat. For me, I am Team Agua. So my parents tried to get me to drink coffee, but it just never happens. As a Cubana, my whole family does, and I just never got into it. So I'm with you on a healthier note, for sure.
Yes, water's even healthier than tea. Yes, that's even better.
So, Wendy, can you share a little bit more with us so our audience can get to know you? Tell us more about your cultural backgrounds, and then professionally, what really inspired you to become a business and leadership coach?
Yes, well, my parents came here in the 1970s from Guatemala because there was a lot of turmoil in Guatemala, and a lot of what the United States was doing in Central America at the time was causing there to be a lot of turmoil. So they came here for a better life for their kids, right? And I was taught to go to school, get good grades, get the dream job that has like the 401k and the good health insurance, and be on your way. And that was going to be what would provide stability, right? I think for children of immigrants and immigrants, stability is so important, like having stable income, stable money coming in, buying a house, like all those kind of dreams that our parents have for us, right? So I found myself in my early 20s having done a lot of that, like looking really good on paper. What I like to say, I had gone to UCLA, I got an undergrad degree, I got a master's degree, I got the dream job, and I was still unhappy. I had bouts of depression, anxiety, and I would look at people like the executive director at the nonprofit that I worked at, and I was like, I do not want their life. I do not want that level of stress or anxiety, or I just didn't see a lot of freedom in that life. I saw somebody who worked all day, couldn't control their schedule, was a challenging it was just challenging time. And if you've ever worked in the nonprofit world, well, you work in the nonprofit world right now, Lisandra, the hours can accumulate, and then if you really boil down to how much you're making. So I wanted a life that included more money and more freedom, and I wanted to make an impact. It was really important to me to make an impact in the Latino community specifically, and I didn't feel like I had that at that moment. So I went on a journey also for my own mental health, like to figure out, why did I feel burnout at 25 years old? Why was I burning out at 25 years old? I was like, oh my gosh, imagine when I have a family and I have kids and all of that gets into the mix, it's going to be really a challenging time. So in my personal journey of trying to figure myself out, I tried therapy, I tried Prozac, I tried a bunch of stuff for mental health. And the thing that worked the best for me that I discovered was transformational coaching. And transformational coaching really locked into my brain in a way that I understood it. And I think in part because I have ADHD. So shout out to all the divergent people in the room. I have ADHD. It's hard to manage sometimes with ADHD, managing your thoughts, staying on track with things, following through, right? There's a challenge with stimulus. Things are either really stimulating or not stimulating enough. And I think in part because of my type of brain, I think that's why transformational coaching worked really well. And it's kind of an in-between, because transformational coaching really talks about our relationship with ourselves and what are the main thoughts that we're thinking, what are the main beliefs that we're thinking, that we're feeling, what are the feelings that we're having in our day-to-day life, and then how do we translate that into actual results out in the world, which I call the horizontal. The horizontal is everything happening outside of us, right? Our bank account, our email list, our to-do list, what our boss thinks, our Friday night get together with the friends, that's all happening outside of us. The vertical is what's happening internally in you and the connection to the quantum field. So that I found through transformational work is the real game, because this is affecting everything in here. In fact, you're channeling everything in here through, you're filtering all of this through this window, through your perspective, right? So I really got into the work, fell in love with transformational coaching. And here I am almost 20 years later as a coach, as a transformational coach, decided to go into entrepreneurship, decided to do leadership development. I did ADHD coaching for a long time. I did executive coaching for a long time also. So I have experience doing that. Everything in the strategy side I can do, but more importantly, this vertical side, this what is your relationship with yourself? And what I'm finding now is that neuroscience is catching up. Now there's these neuroscience coaches that are saying the same thing that transformational coaches have been saying for the last 20 years. So it's an exciting time. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I definitely think we could all relate to burnout at some point in our careers, as you're trying to climb the ladder, as you are having that drive to kind of move forward, to be successful. So I think at any point, the most of us have definitely felt it. So being able to really reflect and sit with ourselves becomes so much more difficult when we're in that hustle and bustle, right? So I think thank you so much for sharing just the importance of the transformational side, that internal work that really needs to be done. And although we say, like leave your personal at the door, sometimes we hear that saying, it sometimes is impossible because it is impacting, to your point, the way that you're approaching the work that you're doing, the way that you're going into a space. So we are human, right? We bring all those emotions and experiences with us. So when you're not able to make that separation, then that's when you need to do that, right, internal work. Right? So
yeah, and I would say you're not making the separation. So this idea that, oh, leave your personal stuff at the door, it's BS. You're carrying your personal stuff with you always.
That's right.
And when you're doing that, what you're doing is ciphering a part of you. You're like cutting off a part of you. And that part of you could actually add value to the workspace, especially in leadership, because leadership is really about trusting yourself. So you can't leave parts of you at the door. That's what I consider old school leadership teaching. New age leadership teaching is you bring all of you to work. That doesn't mean you share everything. That doesn't mean you share every part of you with every person, right? But you bring all of you to work and you learn within that scope of like when to be the confident version of you, when to be the patient version of you, when to discern when is the right time to say the right thing. But all of you should be showing up at work all the time because you are a human being that has all of it.
Multifaceted.
Yeah, you're a human being. You have feelings. If something's going on at home, trust me that it's going to affect your work 100%.
Thank you so much. We see some comments here resonating, some folks that identify with the ADHD, some folks mentioning your relationship with yourself is really at the core of all that you do. So I just want to highlight some of those as well. Awesome. Okay, so as we continue, Wendy, many of us sometimes have a hard time thinking that we need to figure everything out on our own, right? That sort of that independence, that mode of like, no, I can do it, and I got it type of thinking, right? What do you think coaching and mentorship, how can it be such a powerful tool to combat some of that and really accelerate Latinas or professionals in general, right?
Yes. So listen, guys, if you're listening to this, you need to get a coach. Coaching is the secret sauce. It's one of the secret sauces that the people in charge have had access to for years. Every executive that I knew that was being successful, that was actually like meeting their KPIs and excelling in their work environment and in their home life too, has had a coach. In fact, most really successful executives or people in leadership positions have what they call a personal board of directors. They actually have 5-6 people in their personal board of director life. One of them or two of them might be related to their career. They might have a mentor and a sponsor that's related to their career, but then they also have a financial mentor, somebody who they look up to who's done great things in terms of their finances. They might even have a relationship mentor, somebody who is maybe married or has a relationship that they look up to. So I think we actually all need a board of directors. If you're listening to this and you are ambitious and you're up to big things in life, takeaway number 1, get a coach. Takeaway number 2, get a board of directors, of mentors, not just for your career, but in these other areas. You could have a health mentor, somebody who really takes care of their health. And you're like, dang, I wish I could exercise the way so-and-so exercises or the way so-and-so treats their body. I think we need to go beyond even coaching, but yes, starting with coaching is number 1. There's a statistic that having a coach increases your likelihood of reaching your goals by 88%. That's almost 90%. The chance that you will reach whatever your goal is highly increased by almost 90% by having a coach in your life. So secret sauce, all executives at some point have had coaches, and coaching used to only be available to executives. And now, thanks through organizations like you and through me in doing affordable coaching, there are ways for the average person to afford coaching. Yeah, it's integral because you can't see yourself on the playing field. You can't see, it's like a basketball coach, right? The person playing basketball cannot watch themselves play basketball while they're playing basketball, whereas a coach is on the outside and can see things that you just can't see when you're in your day-to-day life and your day-to-day work. Yeah.
Right. Super insightful. You heard it here. If you don't have one, get a coach. Start looking into it now. We definitely have a lot of folks in our ASA network, our Amigahood network that you can certainly tap into. So definitely start looking into that now for some of that transformational work. Thank you for sharing, Wendy. I've definitely heard the term the board of directors term before. I'm really admirable to Michelle Obama, and she mentions her kitchen table is one thing she mentioned. So similar to the same concept, but more for like the personal, being able to speak to folks about struggles or things you're going through and just being real with them. So on the similar side, kind of the board of directors approach as well. Nice. Okay, so on the other hand, we also can sometimes think, I feel like one thing that's an ongoing challenge for anyone is imposter syndrome, right? Walking into spaces and feeling like you may not belong or feeling a little bit out of place when maybe it's a new space, a new role, a new environment, new people, etc. So sometimes we may think we have to shrink ourselves if we're feeling that imposter syndrome. What kind of mindset shifts have you been able to support your clients with when they're going through some of that and maybe trying to get over some of those limiting beliefs?
Yes, guys, listen, this is the whole enchilada. Limiting beliefs live in the vertical, right? And the vertical is your relationship with you and the quantum field. This is affecting everything in your life, everything. So for those of you that want to get a promotion or get a raise or move into higher positions of leadership or work less and create more results, whatever it is, whatever you're wanting out here, it's coming from the programming that's happening internally first. There's actually something called being work, which is something I teach in transformational coaching and in my group coaching program called Inspired Action, which is a group coaching program that's really affordable per month. It's a way to introduce transformational principles to people. Something called being work. Being work is about your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your intentions, and your frequency of vibration on a day-to-day basis. So the word mindset that you just used is also old school leadership framework, right? It's not enough to just talk about the mind and your thoughts. That's entry level. Entry level is we got to manage our thoughts. Yes, but there's so much more happening, especially with Latinas or women of color. We are more connected to our body. And if you're not connected to your body, I can help you with that too. We need to get reconnected with our body. But we're also connected to feelings, beliefs, intentions. There is a frequency of vibration happening through us that goes beyond the mindset. So when we think about breaking through a limiting belief, right? It's not just mindset. Mindset is the introduction to breaking through. So we start with the thought, but really what we have to do with that thought is reprogram our subconscious, reprogram our body, reprogram our feelings, and start to step into a new thought that then leads to a feeling and a belief. And practicing that over and over again is actually how we break through that limiting belief. So yes, there are limiting beliefs right now that are stopping each of you. There's still limiting beliefs in me that are stopping me. And some of these beliefs we've been programmed through time and time and time. And one of them is this idea that you have to shrink if you don't feel like you fully belong, right? But when do we fully belong? It's rare for us to walk into a room and feel 100% safe, like, oh, I was meant to be here all the time. Most of us are walking into rooms where we're like, oh, I don't know if I belong. I'm not sure. I might be the first to walk into that room. I might be the first at that table. I might not feel confident enough to really like own my worthiness in that moment. Confidence, worthiness, courage all live here. They live in the vertical, guys. And we're spending a lot of time here in society. We're spending a lot of time here in the horizontal, learning strategies, learning these quick tips, right? And listen, for like an ADHD brain, there are quick tips that work. But at the end of the day, the stuff that really works, that will be with you for 10, 15 years, which is why I'm still a coach, almost 20 years in the business, is this deeper work of learning to actually reprogram your thoughts, your beliefs. I actually have a formula for belief work, but it's challenging to shift those beliefs and start to like rearrange the way you look at things. So for somebody dealing with imposter syndrome, I mean, we would work on self-worth, how you see yourself. We would work on your confidence, right? But how do you actually build confidence? One thing, you go out and do something that scares you. Confidence is built through action, not just through thinking and feeling, but through actually taking steps, doing something that's outside of your comfort zone. I call it the growth edge, moving to your growth edge, right? So think of something right now that scares you a little bit. And I'm speaking to the audience, right? Think of something right now that scares you a little bit. Maybe it's volunteering for something at work. Maybe it's leading a meeting. Maybe it's sending that email. Maybe it's reaching out to somebody that you want to be your sponsor, but you've been too scared to reach out. Or who knows, maybe it's cooking dinner on Friday. That scares me. Cooking dinner on Friday is not my favorite.
Very relatable.
That's relatable, exactly. That scares me. So but whatever it is, it's facing it. It's not even necessarily succeeding at it. It's facing it, feeling the uncomfortable feeling and doing it anyways. Learning to move through the fear, right? Doing it scared, doing it with the fear, and then moving through it. And when you get to the other side and you realize, oh, I didn't die, even though I led the meeting or I did the public speaking thing, that's how confidence starts to be built. That's how your confidence starts to really, really bloom and really grow. And it's interesting because I get this question about imposter syndrome all the time. And I don't actually think I've ever actually had imposter syndrome myself because I have different beliefs than your average person. But listen, these beliefs have gotten me to building a $1 million+ business, doing exactly what I love to do, working 20 to 25 hours a week with 3 kids and multiple properties. And like, I have this really great life that I've built.
And this is time to work on, right?
Yes. And this is years of working on myself, on myself. But like one of the beliefs I have is every room that I walk into, they're lucky to have me. Like that's a belief that I've just through time have built because I'm unique, right? There's a unique perspective here. And each of you watching this, you're also unique. You also have a unique perspective. So I would offer you that belief. That's a different belief than I'm going to shrink myself, right? Because I just want to fit in. What if you decided you didn't want to fit in? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The only way forward is through, right? That's what they say. So you got to take the action, as you mentioned, so that it can start feeling less and less uncomfortable and you gain some of that confidence, to your point.
I would reframe that a little bit. I would say get used to feeling uncomfortable. Yeah. So as opposed to something becoming less uncomfortable, it's you build yourself up so you're able to withstand, or you have more capacity for sitting in the uncomfortable. Because there will always be fear. Like this idea of a fearless life doesn't exist. Or a fearless Latina doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always going to be fear. And if you're in a growth mindset, there's always going to be uncomfortableness too.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We definitely have some resonating comments here of shifting mindsets, of being able to think about the next path in your journey. So thank you so much. Here is one comment / question from a viewer. If you can offer some advice related to how do you assess if you're coachable? So that was one.
Yeah, it has to do with how open your mind is. So executive coaches or coaches that have enough experience, we ask a series of questions to get to how open-minded you are. Really, somebody who's coachable is somebody who's going to trust their coach and trust the process, which requires a certain amount of surrender. Really great coaching, guys, happens in the vertical, which means in some ways it's blowing your mind. what I mean by that is it's expanding the way you think, right? I like to use the analogy of the difference between change and transformation. So transformational coaching really is about shifting the way you look at things. Change happens often here, and change is like, oh, let's do a personality test to find out like what your personality traits are or work traits are. Here are the 5 ways to communicate with your boss, right? Change is like, I want a better life, or I want to do better at work. So we're going to rearrange the furniture on the 7th floor. Let's say you live on the 7th floor. We're going to rearrange the furniture on the 7th floor. We might even paint the walls and get new curtains, and we're going to change your environment. And you're going to feel better because you've rearranged the furniture, you've learned some things, you've maybe painted, you've made some changes, right? That make you feel better. Transformational coaching is we're going to move from the 7th floor to the 22nd floor. And now the whole apartment is different. The walls are different and the view is different. The way you're actually looking at the world is different. There's a different perspective now. And so the person living on the 22nd floor, they're going to for sure get the whatever promotion they want or whatever it is. Yeah. So one of the things I do as a coach is assess how open you are to that. But I also, in the coaching process, guide you to being more open, right? Trusting and open. I think trusting the process, trusting me as your coach, trusting whoever your coach is, being open-minded, because a lot of what I'm talking about, guys, even right now, might feel uncomfortable because it's out of your comfort box. But this, what I'm talking about, is the new reality because the world is changing like this. So the old school mindset of you're going to have a safe job for 10 years and you're going to be able to move up and all your bills are going to be paid every month. That level of stability doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist in this new world. AI, this administration, global warming. I mean, there's so many things happening to the planet. We're living in an uncertain world.
And very fast-paced.
Very fast-paced, but not just fast-paced, changing constantly, right? So you have to be able to move with that. And this kind of thinking means I can choose new beliefs at every step and point. The last thing I'll say about being coachable. So trust, open-minded, and commitment. Coaching requires commitment. You have to show up. You have to be willing to do the work. At least with me, I give all my clients growth work. So there's like an assignment every week that you get to follow through with. And they're not easy assignments, but they're assignments that are going to help you grow in your capacity as a leader. So it's really important, right? And it can be challenging. You have to make it a priority, just like you make eating every day a priority, or you make going to the gym every day a priority. And society doesn't tell us that what I'm talking about is a priority. Society tells us that finishing all your emails is a priority. So you actually have to start shifting some of your beliefs into, no, this inner work, this vertical work that Wendy's talking about, this is a priority. Because this is the work, guys, that gets you to whatever you want outside. Actually, once you do this work, you care less about the stuff outside. You care less about the house and the car and the degrees and all that stuff. But you can attain it if you want. Yeah. I hope that answers the question. That was a long kind of answer. Sorry.
No, yeah, that was very comprehensive, I would say. So definitely, as you're thinking about getting a coach, now you've learned how to be coachable and how to approach it with that positive mindset, being open to learning, being action oriented through going through that transformation. Thank you for sharing. So as we wrap up, Wendy, I'll have one last question for you. And I know I do want to shout out the fact that you have an event coming up as well. Yes, Mujer, you can. So we did post some links there in the chat and more details about it. So if you want to check that out and join Wendy, feel free to check that out in the chat there and learn more about that event. As we close, if you can share, leaving our audience with one message about believing in themselves and really taking that next step towards their dreams, what would that one message be that you'd like to leave them with?
You have to be willing to look in the mirror at yourself and really get honest with yourself about what you really want and why you want it. That's the most important question, is why do you want to make more money or to get the promotion or to create the impact even that you want, like the leadership position, right? What's behind that? What's the feeling that you're searching for? And a lot of the times when I do this work with my clients, the feeling behind is people want to feel safe. They want peace of mind. They want to feel connected deeply to their work or to the impact that their work is making. Yeah. And so I would advise you to start looking for ways to create that now in your life. That safety. How do I find safety within myself? Because it's not going to come from anything outside of me. How do I find peace of mind within myself? How do I find connection to myself? How do I access those parts of me right now, even if the outside world doesn't match that right now? Because it's an inside out job. So if you're vibrating that frequency, the universe is going to meet you at that. The outside world is going to meet you at that. Your work will actually start to change, even though nothing outside of you has really changed. But what's changed is you. You've moved to the 22nd floor. So now your view is different. Yeah. And that changes everything. Yeah. And I'd love to talk a little bit about my podcast. I do have a podcast. So for all of you that are listening that aren't in Los Angeles, my live event is actually in Los Angeles. But if you can't come to Los Angeles for my live event, listen to my podcast. It's called YES MUJER, Build It. It's all of these same principles. It's not just for women, although it is women-centered, but men can listen to it too. It's called YES MUJER, Build It. And these transformational principles that I'm talking about that go beyond mindset, I talk a lot about these principles on the podcast. And I also share my personal story of how I became a Latina millionaire, why I chose entrepreneurship, how I help people that are in careers, also my clients. So please listen to the podcast, subscribe, like it on Apple and Spotify. It's available on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube also.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Wendy. You've left us with such good nuggets of knowledge, and our audience has definitely been engaging. So feel free to check some of those things out. We thank you for joining us at Cafecito con HACE. Gracias, Wendy. Y hasta la próxima, everyone.
Thank you.